let's get on to business. For those just now starting to watch this video here, my name is Kevin. I'm the owner of Inventamark, and I have a YouTube channel I normally watch, or normally have videos. I haven't made a video there for quite a while now. It's been probably like 3 or 4 years, maybe. But anyway, let's back to the subject here. Don't need that. So down here, I have the keys that I use. I use the Blender 2.7 keys. I don't like the 2.8 use of the wheel and stuff like that. So if you do want to follow along with what I do for anything, it's recommended that you switch to Blender 2.7 settings. Go to Edit, Preferences. You just go to Edit, Preferences, Key Map, and down below there you have an option to switch to Blender 2.7x or industry compatible or Blender itself. So the Blender one's just the regular ones that they have for 2.8, and the 2.7 one is the one that they have for the other one. So anyway, what I used to have, or I currently do have right now on the printer, is a belt-driven system that turns one motor into a gear, and then it turns into a big shaft that goes through from here to here. And let me save this real quick. I'll just open it and show you. It is this one. This is what it currently looks like. It's kind of a hot mess, if you to be honest. That's not part of it, but anyway, so it has a motor, it has a belt here, and then this has a belt on this side for this side. But it currently works by having a belt go up over the top. It goes through one side, and the other side is the opposite. So it attaches on one side, goes on the other. So when this turns, it puts weight on the bed here, and they both go up and down at the same time. So they're both in unison at the same time when it turns. It's actually way overcomplicated, and I thought it would be better than the lead screws, because I thought I would end up getting the wobble would be eliminated, and it did eliminate that, but I'm still getting belt like instabilities, which is kind of odd. So I ordered some lead screws, and I got those in already, but I need to actually print the parts that I need to print. So I'm going to go back to what I was working on. Which one was it? This one. Save. So yeah, it's this. This is the current model that I have. I'm going to go ahead and hide all this stuff, because I want to be able to work with this and this. This is just a empty block right now. There's not anything on it. But all the key presses and the mouse stuff that I do will show up down here. So say if I grab it, I press G, and it doesn't show the actual mouse movements, but it just shows the keys. Give it a right click or left click or middle mouse button and move. It shows everything that I do. So anyway, I'm just going to start working on this. I might not talk a whole lot, but if somebody shows up to the actual stream, because right now there's currently nobody, if anybody asks questions or anything, I'll help. So first thing I want to do, Trying to figure out what exactly I want to do when it comes to size and shape of everything. That is a 20 millimeter one. Yeah, it's 20 millimeter. What I need is a 30 millimeter screw, so I'm gonna cursor back over here. Oh, okay. For some reason, all my add-ons aren't there. They're not implemented. I need to add on the bolt factory. So I went ahead and added that. So now bolt shows up. I want this to be an M5. I want it to be Allen key. I want it to be cap, and I want it to be 30 millimeters. All right. For some reason my key is not working. Okay. What I want to do is get this to be bolted very tight, because my current one is not quite tight enough. It needs to be a lot tighter than it already is. And I kind of want to totally encapsulate the bearings here. And I'm going to have to make this wider too, so I want to put bolts on both sides. I don't know if I have this many bolts. I don't think I do. I think that's a little bit overkill. I get rid of every other one. I think 4 like that should be plenty. Okay, duplicate those. Those about right there. Just so I have kind of a idea. Where these need to go. This. That is that. I don't need those right now. Leave that there right now. Another thing I did too is I'm moving the Z axis rods to the outside of this. They were on the inside here before. Now they are on the outside. So, just thinking here. I'm going to do cursor to that. Add cylinder. I like to make these 128. I have a new small, what's it called? Like the 10 key, like little, what's it called? Like a 10 key keypad for, so, because I have my mouse and keyboard separated really far apart from my hands because I do everything laying down simply because I have back problems and this is how I have to do things now. Let's see. Do that. Do that. Extrude that. Oh, focus in on that. Size it down to at least be big enough for the bolt. Get some room in there. Okay, so and then extrude again. What is it doing? That was weird. I don't know what that was. And so why is that not aligned with it? What is going on? Oh, that's what's going on. It was the bottom bolt that was showing through that was making it look all distorted. Anyway, so add another cylinder. This time I only want to make it 6 because I want it to be a hexagon. Rotate that on Y. 90 degrees. Gonna be around there somewhere. I'll also need to add a bolt for an M5. Or not a bolt, but a nut for M5. Rotate that. And Y. Click on this. Rotate 30 degrees. Oh, wow. That rarely ever happens. I actually made this the exact size I needed. That is weird. So basically now I'm going to do a Boolean and do a union and just select this object. Those two will now be combined to one object. Delete that. So we have that. And with that, we can duplicate this. Cursor to selected. Select one of these. Move it. Cursor to selected. Duplicate. The cursor. I just keep repeating this. And then, for some reason I'm going to go down to my line of the other one. Oh, that. This is just full force of Right, copy. Ready. Selected. Copy. Paste. Hit every line. This is the boring part. Ready to last time. There we go. Alright, and these ones line with each other. They are. I'll have to look like that all the time. It does. So, before I make any changes, now these are all. We're also align with the other ones. This should be not too complicated. Okay, there we go. That's what it's like. For any other leads or anything, I'm going to duplicate this to the side. Just so I have a block to work with to the side. And I make consideration for this as well. I don't have visions right now, so I'm going to have to measure that later, just right now, and get this set up how I need to. So what I'm going to do is duplicate that. Put that in mode. Control R. And then what I'm going to do, now that that's selected, I'm just going to extract that over here. Letting a whole lot of room on here, but I just need enough to make it let room for this other mount field. That looks good. That's just something for down here. And should have a little bit of racing too. Let me make it stronger as it's got bear some weight. So that's a better twist. Actually, move these, size these on the way. A little wider. Put the center load through the variance. This actually doesn't need to be quite this wide. Just want to print out the waste material. Like that. Move that somewhat. Like that. And bring it to the arc. Put that like that. Like that. Put that. I don't actually know anything about engineering. I'll start. Oh, that works. Okay. So all these, you can make a little bit. And go over here. Bring this group down. Control J, move all the group. And these all select at this end. What I'm actually going to do is move these a little bit. Move that a little bit. I do want these to grip somewhat. I do want these to grip a little bit. We're doing your bolts. Look here. And are these ones aligned with each other? They are. The other ones aren't. I don't know how that happened. Little tiny things like that happen all the time. It's kind of annoying, and I don't know why it happens, but it does. So before I make any changes, oh no, these are all in the wrong spot. So I gotta align them with the other ones. This should be not too complicated. Okay. There we go. That's what it should look like. Before I make any other booleans or anything, I am going to duplicate this for this side, just so I have a block to work with for this side. And I need to make a consideration for this as well. I don't have the measurements right now with me, so I'm going to have to measure that later and then do that later. But just for right now, I can get this set up how I need to. So what I'm going to do is duplicate that. Or go into edit mode. Control R. And then what I'm going to do, now that that's selected, I'm just going to extract that out, or extrude. Move that down a little bit. I don't need a whole lot of room on here, but I just need enough to make it so that there's room for this upper mount to go. Actually, about like that. So it looks good. And that's just to compensate for the mount here. And it should add a little bit of bracing too. Actually, now that I think about it, let me, to make it stronger, because it's going to bear some weight, so that doesn't bend or twist. I'm actually going to move these, size these on the Y a little bit wider. Kind of put the center of the load through where the bearing is. Because this actually doesn't need to be quite this wide. It's just more material to print out, and I don't want to have to waste material. But like that. Move those out somewhat. Size that. Again, putting it through the arc of that. Put it on the outside, kind of. So just kind of sort that out. I don't actually know anything about engineering, to be honest. I just know how to build stuff that works. So all of these need to be moved in a little bit, it looks like. And a closer look here. You can join these as a group now. Control J joins them all as a group. And these all are selected at this end. So what I'm actually going to do is move these in a little bit. Move that in a little bit. I do want these to grip somewhat. And I do want these to be recessed a little bit for 30 millimeter bolts. So if we look here, the 30 millimeter bolt on the new position will be sticking out quite a ways from that, so I could possibly move to 20 millimeter bolt, which this is, which would be a lot better because I actually have more of these. Let me see if these will work. These will not work unless I move it in a little bit. So in order to get enough bite on the nut, move that in there. With the 20 millimeter, I actually need to move this a little bit more like that and move that in more. So now I didn't need to place all of these actually. I just needed to know where they needed to go. Oh, did I delete the 20 millimeter on accident? I did. Oh, let's delete them all. Oops. Let's duplicate one of these, rotate it by 90 negative. Or 270, it doesn't matter. Cursor to selected, selected to cursor. Back up on top. And that's a 30 millimeter. I don't want a 30 millimeter. Okay, I have to have another one somewhere around here. That is 30 millimeter. That's 20 millimeter. This is the one I was working on. I think it is. It just wasn't tall enough. Yeah, it is. Okay. Oh, no, wasn't tall enough. It was just too tall, too high up. And be centered like so. And that should make it work with 20 millimeters. All right. So we'll go into here a little bit, but I want enough grip on the nut so that it tightens automatically. because this will be split in half at some point. And looks like we got that. So now, I got that sized. I'm going to duplicate that because I like the geometry of that better than just the square block. And it's already got it made. Put it there. All right, so that's that. These need to go down like that. So it will look like that, simply due to the way that everything's lined up. So now I will do a Boolean difference from these. Apply. And you now have all the holes we need to mount everything. And here we have what it actually looked like in the end. The holes are a little bit big for the things, but that doesn't matter. The only thing that really matters is the closeness on that. Just check a few things here real quick. All right, so got that all set up. What I need to do now is get the holes for these made proportionally correct. So I'm gonna duplicate these and size them up. Probably about doesn't really matter. I'll size them here. Let's just do 12 millimeter. 12 millimeters on both of these. Over here. Oh, how did I do that? Supposed to be 12. 1, 2. All right. So I'm gonna group these, and then do another Boolean here. Yeah, looks like that will work. Apply. I'm just gonna go ahead and delete those. So now we have those with no interference. Now I'm gonna select these. Try to select these all at once. I'm actually going to double check to make sure they're lined up correctly with each other. That looks right. That looks right. That looks right. I spaced them out because right now they're currently right on top of each other. Like that one's right here, like next to the other one. But spacing them out, hopefully it will have more stability in the this plane. So like this goes up, this goes down, like the tilting of it. It's kind of hard to explain, but anyway, I'm gonna group these together and then do a Boolean on these. I have these sized. I've printed them out before. I actually tested to see if the bearings fit, and they fit like really good on these current bearing models. So I'll do another Boolean difference and apply. Go ahead and hide those. So you can see in there that they are molded out in there and open. And for this one, I'm going to add a cylinder. It changes back to 128 because I had it on 6 before. I have no idea where that cylinder is. It's right there. Okay. First it is selected. Look at the cylinder. Wait, no. My brain's malfunctioning. Selection to cursor. That's what I was looking for. So I want this to be fairly wide open. I don't know exactly what size I need to make this. I do know that I need to make it at least the size of this. So how did I get that 12 millimeters exactly again? I wasn't trying to looking at that. That's crazy. All right, but anyway, so for that, I can do another Boolean. Difference with that. Y. Delete that. So now we know that that can go through it, but I need to make the recess mount for both the the I can't remember what it's called. The thing that clamps onto the lead screw. It's kind of a nut, but not really. It's more of like a flange nut that just bolts on, and that has spacing and size on it. And I don't know. It's about this big, but it holds on to the lead screw and it needs to be bolted to the other thing. So I might need to make the other hole bigger. In fact, you know what? Just in case, this needs to be somewhat wide for the nut fit through in there, because only the top flange of the nut mounts to it. And I know that's got to be at least 18 millimeters. If not, I'm not sure what it would be then. All right. So do another Boolean here. I know it needs to be at least that big. Put the bottom part of the nut to fit through. And I don't want it touching anywhere but that. This is just a temporary to see if this is going to work well or not. I don't want to have like a lead screw like impressions of the model when I print it. So now it's kind of a weird thing that I'm going to do. I'm going to add a plane. And I'm going to split this model in half. But before I can do this, I need to actually make the plane have some thickness. But I don't want it to be too thick. Right now it's 7.53. I want this to be really thin, so I'm going to put it like 0.2 millimeters. So it's super thin, but it has enough thickness that it will actually separate the two. So when the parts clamp together, they clamp together with force, so it actually kind of bends the actual model a little bit. It looks like we're clearing that part of the thing, so this whole part will be stable and have some security to it, because I have it lined up with this model And this will actually be mounted here. And it's actually going to have another bearing that it's going to have a connector between the two here. I'll just make a quick little model of one. It's going to be something like this. And on top of it, there's going to be like a bearing right here to have a housing. Ready to make the model that mounts this, and from the mount also holds the bearing. So that's going to take up quite a bit of space, but it's actually not much less than, or not much more than the other one. I could even put the motor up on top here, but right now it's kind of conflicting with all of this, so I don't really, not too sure exactly what I want to do with that. I'm probably going to move this over here more, because this is where all the wires go through from the circuit board over to that. But anyway, getting back to what I was working on. This here. Okay. Looks good from here. Let's zoom in. Kind of want to have it towards the center. I'm going to have to offset it a little bit. Not too much though. Focus in directly on that model. So what I'm going to do is do a Boolean. So now this model is split in half. So if I go here and press L on that, you can see that is in fact split apart. And this is all the bearings and stuff on the inside. I'll undo that. But anyway, so now we have this model almost complete. So we have that there. That's all I can really do on this one for now, until I get the measurements for the lead screw thing. I haven't actually measured it, so it's kind of hard to say on that. So what I'm going to do next is create the mount for this. And I could probably use it on both of these. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I can probably use the mounts for this on that side too. So I only really, excuse me, I really only have to make one model for both sides, because they're going to be identical regardless of what I do. For this part, I also need to add connections so that I can connect it to the actual build plate here, because right now it's just going to be here, and it actually moves the whole entire thing that way. I think I resized that on accident when I shouldn't have resized it. I'm not sure, but I might have. So anyway, that's all I can do for now on that until I get those things. And I need to figure out a way to mount it to the bed so it's more secure. So next up, I'm going to add a cube here. Size that up somewhat. And I need to make this about the same size as the rail. So I could actually do 20 on that. Move that over. And where's that? this. I like to use these. These are almost like my whole printer's gauge blocks. Move this over here for height adjustment, because these work like almost perfectly with the mounting hardware that I have. Because this is that groove aluminum with the channel in it, and I have little things that go inside of it, and they kind of stay where they're at because I have like little spring loaded ball on them, and when I put the screw in, it grabs onto the thing, and then it tightens up against these rail bottoms here, the whole piece, and it pushes, and the screw mounts it down, and you can lock it in that way, and then the screw actually mounts and hits onto the rail itself, the aluminum part, and bites in, so that way the piece doesn't move up or down like this along the rail. It stays where it's at, so it will be like almost perfectly secured, and it doesn't require that much tension either. All right, so the height on this, it is 27.7. That's not, that doesn't make sense. Oh, this one. Okay, so this one's all screwed up. The rotation's wrong, so I need to fix that. So Control A and rotation will fix that. So 13.3 is the actual height. So I need to make this 13.3. There we go. All right, so move that out of the way for now. I might need it later, so I'll just keep it there. I'll hide these. Those are the mounts for my power supply. So with this, that's centered. Doesn't look like it's centered. It is not centered. Okay. Kind of wondering there. That looks better. Because it looked like it was off. It still looks like it's slightly off, but I trust it. It looks accurate now. That's kind of weird. Okay, so that. So in order to mount this down, I don't need a whole lot to mount this down. But what I do need is that, and this has to be about the same width as the motor. So I'm going to size that on the Y slightly bit more. Extrude that the Z axis a little bit more, and these actually worked out perfectly for these motors for the height right there. So I'm going to do, I can't measure the actual height on here, and I don't have the measure it app on here, so I don't know how that works. Oh, wow. I don't know if this is part of the Blender 2.8 or what. 8.7. That's 8 millimeters, it looks like. I wonder if that's the new part of Blender or not. If it is, that's pretty sweet. So I need to have this 8 millimeters above this. Let's try that again. So I just have, this needs to be about 8 millimeters. That's close enough for me anyway. And Control R, bring this up. I'm going to do it a little bit above that. Extrude that out. Then I have a mount for that. So that will hold that there. And how I'm going to print this is kind of going to be kind of a thing. I'm going to have to print it from this and have support material all underneath this, unfortunately. Simply because of the way that the strength is going to be for the 3D print. I want it to be flat like this. So that kind of sucks, but not much I can do about that. Go back to here. I'm going to add these. It looks like it's going to be fine where they're at. Split in two between those. So I'm going to switch this to face mode. Grab that face. Hold shift and grab that face. Extrude these out. And just want to have like the same amounts around all of them. Okay. So I'm going to split these over here. Now we're in line mode. I want to be in vertex mode, not face mode. Control shift select size. I want these to be pretty close to that, because what I plan on doing is just taking these and just grabbing them up Z. So that way we get a little bit more purchase on the cylinders here. You know, that might not be a bad idea to connect these together. Let me see here. If I move these up even more, get a good bite on those. Add that to there. What I can do, delete that face, delete that face, delete that face, delete that face. Those are all empty now. I just gotta manually connect these. Keep pressing the F too fast. Keep going into camera move. So that is now connected. Twisted there. Might be twisted there slightly. That's okay though. The slicer should be able to figure it out either way. All right, so those are connected. And this is gonna take forever to print. Yikes. I guess probably move that there. Move that down like that. Move this out a little bit more. Give that enough strength there. Add some bevels to it. It's better go to line mode to do that. Make it look a little bit neater. Here, here. Bevel edges. All right. Okay, so we got that. Now, anyway. So I want to go zoom in on top and add cylinder. These don't have to be super accurate, but it helps if they are somewhat accurate. Make them slightly above 3 millimeters. Make it line up as good as possible. Okay. Duplicate those. Okay, those. Oh man. What happened there? I don't need that anymore. Where did my cylinders go? Where's the... They are up here. Make those into a group. Size them up in the Z-axis. And do another boolean here. Apply that. This is 22. Let's make this 34. That works. Add modified or boolean. Apply. So I have enough room for that now. Let's move those over somewhere nearby where those are for now. And I forgot that I need to add a mount for that. What I could do go like this. And move those up here. Go like this. Back to vertex select. Did I just do it? Yep, I did. Size Y 0. Make that flat. The same thing with this size Y 0. And then we do the same thing we did before, just delete faces. Back to vertex mode. And we have these connected up on top here. And this is where I can house the bearing. I don't think the bearings are that big. But I don't know if I have any that are I'm not currently using. There's a 808 ZZ skate bearing or whatever they are. I think that might be 22. Let's put 22 just for the heck of it. And I know they're 8 millimeters wide. At least I think they are. So we can go like that. Like this. Like all of that. Move that up there. Ah, what did I do? Grab that, go up there. And that should work for now. I don't want to edit too much of this because I don't know the dimensions of this, what that's going to be quite yet. And where the bearing goes, I don't know what that's going to be. I might be able to move this entire thing down just because it probably will need to be moved down. And can I get access to those screws very easily? Yeah, I should be able to do those too without too much hassle. We do need to, let's do each one individually. Actually, no, these need to be joined right now because they don't need to go away from each other at all. So, boolean difference from these. Apply. So now those have holes in them for that. And I'm only going to be using 2 mounts for that. Zoom to this. Oh, I was wondering what's going on. That's from the top thing. Move that out of the way there. Make a cylinder. It's the same size as that. That worked pretty good. And this doesn't have to be anywhere near perfect. And I probably could put one in here too. Although it would have to be up higher. Group those together. And boolean these. Why? Probably going to need these on this side over here. Copy those over there. And I'll probably need these over here. Because I might need to be, excuse me, a little quick. Okay, sorry about that. Might be able to duplicate this for this side. It looks like it would work. So I get that side finished. That way I can just print the same part twice and not have to worry about shenanigans of printing this part, and this part, and that part. I'll go ahead and delete that, but I can copy them, which looks like a good thing. I'll focus in on this and double check some things here. So can move that down to make that easier to print. But I want to make it even. So also make it slightly stronger. Uh-oh, here comes the kitty cat. She's coming to join me. She's coming to join me. What you doing, meow meow? You trying to cuddle? Don't lay on the keyboard, that's all I ask. You can lay on my hand, but don't lay on the keyboard. There you go. Good girl. She's laying on my hand. Alright, so that looks good for that. So I got 2 parts made today, which I've been needing to do this for probably about 2 weeks now, and I haven't gotten around to it. So I got those 2. I need to make something up here that has a bearing that holds these 2 as well. So I will cursor to selected, add a cube, go all the way up because it's all the way at the bottom. Make this bigger. Go over top. That looks good for that size. There. The height, that only needed to be 13.3 from knowing that the other little block was only all the higher it was. So now I am going to create a thing there, do there, move that in. That's about the same size as that. Move that in a little bit. Oh. That should hold that. Gotta keep in mind the clearance from this going across this, so that is a bit of an issue because it's a lot wider than the other one was before. On this side, it's not going to be a problem. Just on this side, it will. This one doesn't have to be nearly as complicated. so I'm going to, oops, Kitty, your head, she's got her headlight on my hand on the keyboard, which is a little bit awkward simply because it's hard, it's heavy on my hand. So it makes it hard to lift my hand up. I can move this up a little bit. These I can always move up a little bit regardless of what I do. Because looking at that, I will have room because they're not going to be going all the way down anymore. That works out. Kitty, what are you doing? So, add a cylinder. What is it with cats and keyboards, really? I mean, it's all they ever do. Cursor 2 selected. Selected the cursor. Grab Z. Okay, there we go. What do we thought was 22? And by 8. I think that's what size they are. I'm not entirely sure. Those two. Those don't need to be in that far. Neither do these. And here's where I could do a bevel trick. Oh, gotta select all these edges here. I could even do these ones and these ones. Bevel edges. Add a few, makes it look a little bit smoother. There we go. Alright, so we got that. I don't want to boolean this yet, but probably borrow these. Those are a nice centralized location. I just got to make sure they are lined up with the center. Doo-doo-doo-doo. I'm looking at the circle here because that's the thing there. And that looks centered. Boolean. Do that with these. Apply. Hide those. Boolean. Those. Apply. What the heck did I do? Okay, I'm confused. I'll unhide everything. What the? I don't know what's going on. That's a major malfunction there. I'll have to figure out what that is doing that. That's weird. I've never seen that before. I'm trying to hide these. But it keeps selecting like a whole big thing. It's like the whole basic frame. I don't know what that is. That is weird. Anyway, those are there. Yep, that's there. I do need to make a hole in this. Go for that. 12 millimeters probably be good. Another boolean here. So that's in there. And just need to measure bearings and get that in there. Well, that's actually mostly done. It's just for that and that. I'm just curious how long that's going to take to print. That's probably going to take, oh, I'm guessing probably about 8 hours to print each one. That's going to suck. Nothing I can do about it though. I need to have those parts done. Excuse me. All right. So that. I think that's pretty much all I can really do at the moment until I get those measurements. That's really the only add-ons that I think of that I need to do. I also need to get the actual measurement on this build plate. It's just a plate of plexiglass that I have. I already have holes drilled into it, so I need to get those lined up and measured, and so I can get it properly mounted. So I have 2 holes on each side for it. Like that. That. These again. And I probably should come up with some better Z-axis thing. Because right now I have this where, zoom in on that, where I have a micro switch that's in here. And there's a nut in here and that's in here, like that. That basically hold these in, and this moves up and down based on the movement of this. And so that this can go up as I screw this in and out. It moves this whole thing up and down. And there's springs in here, so it just kind of goes with that. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for this stream. If you have any questions or information, let me know. You can just leave a message on my YouTube community tab or on my suggestion box down below on this video here or on my main channel stream thing. Anyway, well, that's going to be it for now. Thank you. Have a good day.